80% of people who start businesses end up failing. And this staggering statistic has been around for ages and it's been proven time and time again. So that got me thinking, what is it that makes some Turo hosts successful on the platform while other people end up giving up or failing at their businesses? The one thing I've noticed about successful businesses is that they are typically led by people who become experts in what they do. Now, to become an expert at something, we all know that you have to put countless amounts of hours into the thing that you're doing, practicing, repetition, and experiencing so that you become really good at it. Now, we've all heard of that 10,000 hour rule, and some people say it can take up to 25,000 hours before you become really good at something, which is an insane amount of time. Now, along with that, I've seen another really important factor is that you have to push against what is possible and just outside of your comfort zone. So you really have to try and push, how can you grow? How can you expand? How can you be better at what you're doing and deliver a better experience? Now, in this video, I'm going to break down what Turo experts get right and what most hosts end up missing. And I've noticed the people who succeed on Turo get these 3 things right. Plus, they subscribe to this channel for weekly Turo videos, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. So the number one thing that these Turo experts do, myself included, is that they monitor and adjust their listings on a daily, if not weekly basis. Now, this might sound very weird and interesting, like why do you have to continue to check in on your listings and adjust things because Turo has a lot of it automated? But this is extremely important. A thing to note is that Turo is not a monthly basis. You shouldn't just check in on the performance of your cars and how much money you made at the end of a month. You need to be checking on it at least on a weekly basis, if not on a daily basis. The reasons for that are because we have seasons in this market. Things change and you want to make sure that you are adjusting for what's happening in the broader market and the broader market conditions. So what do I mean by that? One of the primary things that you need to be adjusting on a daily, if not weekly basis, is the price points on your calendar. So we know throughout the year we have busy seasons and we have slow seasons. And that means that price adjustments need to be made even if you are using the automatic pricing feature. Because think of it like this, we already know that weekday prices typically look different than weekend prices because there's more demand on the weekends. But that also goes for seasons. Summer tends to be much busier than winter in most markets. And then we also have months that tend to be slower, historically speaking. So for example, September is coming up, and generally looking at past trends, September tends to be very slow because kids are going back to school, vacation season has ended, people have used up tax refunds, and so they're really conserving when it comes to budget. So that means going into September, you really want to adjust the day rates on your calendar, typically to be much lower than what you experience in summer. However, there are some caveats there as well, because in September, we know that we have a major holiday weekend like Labor Day weekend. So you want to go in and adjust for Labor Day weekend, where people have a 3-day weekend to go ahead and vacation. People are traveling more and they have plans which would usually yield a higher day rate. So it's extremely important that you take the time to continually monitor and adjust your listings because the market around you is quite dynamic and changing all throughout the year. Whether it's through the seasons or it's holidays, you want to adjust those price points. This is extremely important because the worst thing that can happen is that you go 30, 60, 90 days without looking at your listings and you realize that the business isn't performing as well as you had hoped. Well, now it's too late because the rental days that you could have taken advantage of have passed only if you had made those listing adjustments on a regular basis. And on a final note, when it comes to monitoring and adjusting your listings, you always want to take a look at what is going on in your direct radius. So let's say, roughly in a 30 to 50 mile radius, you want to see what are cars that are similar to yours, how are they performing, how are they priced out so that you can fit yourself nicely into the market. Now, recently, Turo released an amazing tool where they now give you pricing insights on your calendar. It's a a fantastic tool because not only can you see price points that are performing well, but you can see different cars that are similar to yours that are experiencing high, medium, or low utilization. So it's going to give you a really good gauge on how to adjust your listings. So the thing that Turo experts get right is that they know when it comes to your Turo listings and the management of it, it is quite dynamic and something that you want to adjust on a regular basis. So please try to get into the habit of doing this either daily or weekly, and that is going to make a huge difference in the performance of your business. Now, if you want to learn more about how to actively manage your listings, check out my website, powerhost.club, and I do a full walkthrough on exactly how to manage your listings. All right, so the number 2 thing that Turo experts really get right and do extremely well is that they zero in on the needs of their customers. So what do I mean by that? Understanding what your customers are doing and where they're going and the type of activities that they're involved in is really going to help you curate your listings to cater to their needs. So for example, I'm here based out of Southern California. I'm very close to our beach cities, which is a very hot destination. So for example, Laguna Beach, Newport Beach, and I'm also very close to Disneyland. So we often get a lot of people who are coming into town and they're either headed to the beach cities or they're going to Disneyland with their families. And knowing that information by talking to my guests, I've learned that they are looking for certain types of cars that cater to those needs. They're also looking for certain pickup locations, which makes their experience extremely seamless when they're renting on Turo. So from talking to my guest, I've learned that they find it extremely convenient if they can pick up the car at our local John Wayne Airport. They travel into town, they can go straight from their flight to the terminal, pick up their car, and head over to their hotel over at the beach. And that makes it really easy, which is why I've opened up delivery to John Wayne Airport. And remember, this can also be an extra stream of revenue because you can charge for things like delivery. Now, what I've also learned over the years is that it's extremely sustainable for me to have luxury and sports cars because I love catering to people who are coming into town, going to the beach cities because they want to drive nice, fun, sporty cars. They're typically just going up and down PCH, headed to dinners, or hanging out at their hotel, which I really enjoy the hosting experience of having those types of cars, and that is the audience that I cater to. So it's extremely important that you communicate and you communicate well with your renters and you learn about what they're doing, what can make their experiences better, and how you could better provide a service to them. When you bake that value into your listing, it's the thing that makes you more desirable when a renter is potentially looking at booking your car. The more value you can add, it's going to set you apart from the people who are around you, making you the top choice for somebody when they are coming into your area and wanting to rent a vehicle. So please, please, please make sure that you keep those lines of communication open with your guests and you really explore, ask questions, find out about what they're doing and what they need. That's going to help you decide what type of cars you should have in your fleet, and that's going to help you grow and expand and continue to make progress in the right direction. You always want to make sure that you're walking in the right direction because one wrong car can really turn into a financial pit. So that's something that you really want to avoid. Okay guys, so if you're liking this video so far, make sure you hit that like button and let's get into number 3. Now, the third thing that I see Turo experts really get right is that they really treat their Turo cars as a business. So they're always looking at it from the lens of, hey, this is a business and I'm going to operate it as so. So what does that mean? That means, of course, firstly, they have the structure to be set up as a business. They're usually establishing entities, business bank accounts so that they can really run a tax efficient vehicle. No pun intended. Okay, and what that also means is that they really act in a very professional manner. The upkeep of cars, making sure that they're always clean, providing a consistent experience, making sure that they are maintained well. These things are extremely important because as a business, at the end of the day, you are most concerned with what your bottom line is and the margins that you're bringing in, which means that you want to take advantage of every available rental day on a calendar, right? Especially in a month, you want to max out as many possible days. Now, if you're not maintaining your cars on a regular basis, a rental could come up, but let's say you need new tires and then you have to end up canceling a trip. Well, there goes days on a rental in a rental month that you could have booked up your car, but you didn't because it wasn't maintained well. So you always have to look at it from the lens of a business. What makes the most sense for the business? How can you optimize for maximum margins and bottom line revenue? This is extremely important. Oftentimes, what I end up seeing people do is that they get fun and cool cars that they're definitely into themselves personally, and they end up marking their calendars as unavailable because they want to use their cars and they want to enjoy them. Now, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're hitting your revenue goals. So you never want to take away from the core goal of the business, which is at the end of the day to make money. That is what we are here for, and that's what we're putting our time into this for. So you want to make sure that you hit those goals first before you enjoy the fruits of your labor, right? So that is extremely important. You want to make sure that your business is dialed in, you're set up as a proper entity, you have business bank accounts where your expenses are flowing through that and your revenues are flowing into that. Because when it comes to tax time, you really want to take advantage of these expenses that you have as deductions. Because remember, the biggest cost of doing business is always taxes. So these things are very important. And in the upcoming weeks, I'm going to be posting more videos about how to set up your entities, how to build business credit to kind of help you guys out in operating as a full-blown business. So to recap real quick, you want to make sure that you are actively managing and adjusting your listings because seasons change, price points change, and markets change. It's very important. Number two, you want to make sure that you are communicating with your guests and you're really understanding what their needs are so that you can cater to that and build more value into your listings. And the number three thing that Turo experts get right is that they run their Turo cars as a full-fledged business, and that is how they end up growing and succeeding and becoming really good at what they do. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you are just getting started on Turo and you want to learn about what's that first car that you should get, definitely check out this video that I recently posted on everything you need to know before you buy your first car. So thank you again, guys. I look forward to chatting with you down in the comment section below. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys soon.